Most boring champion ever.
I got a question for, oh, I forgot the name.
Why is Belal Muhammad the most hated UFC champion? Why is he the most disliked fighter in the UFC?
But Belal, he's a fake champ. He's a fake.
Doesn't knock down anyone in 4 hours and 17 minutes.
What do you think about Belal Muhammad as a champ? Oh, he's woeful.
Belal, remember the name Muhammad, but unfortunately, if you see his fights, you can barely remember the name. Fans don't like him, his peers don't like him, and Dana doesn't like him. He's got more haters than a viral TikTok video.
Belal, you think you could win a street fight by decision?
With an incredibly boring style and no knockouts, Belal has one of the worst nicknames in MMA history and complains all the time. Sounds like a recipe for disaster. Goddamn Belal, you've pissed off a lot of people out there. And interestingly, Muhammad has been given flack for years now, be it for his fighting style, his persona, or his antics. He kinda gives strange vibes. Keep in mind now that he's a champion, but disowned by the fans. But why so much hate for a kind-hearted humanitarian fighter out of the second city? So let's unpack this drama and explain why this is happening in the MMA world. Let's get right into it. Belal Muhammad won the UFC welterweight title at UFC 304, and you'd think this would be celebrated among the MMA audience, but nah, fans are throwing shade left, right, and center. It's not just the casuals, it's fighters, and even the boss, Dana White himself. Muhammad might not be the biggest draw, but his detractors are plenty. Take a look.
Belal, you think you could win a street fight by decision? I got a question for, oh, I forgot the name.
Belal has made a lot of fans upset out there. First off, let's talk about Dana White. You know, if Dana ain't vibing with you, things are gonna be rough for you. It's like your boss not liking you at work, but you're still getting paid.
Dana? Nah, he keeps ignoring my calls. I keep trying to call him. I keep texting him. He's leaving me on red.
Dana's made it pretty clear he's not too thrilled about Belal being the champion. Why?
Belal Muhammad's new welterweight champion. Wasn't a barn burner.
Well, Belal doesn't exactly bring the fireworks to the fight game. He's not that big draw that Dana loves. Many fans insinuated that Dana looked very upset wrapping the belt around Belal. He was also seen in a super sour mood at the post-pay-per-view press conference. Take a look at this clip, which went viral. Dana said it and moved on, but paved the way for a domino effect. Other fighters pounced on it and started taking their shots too. We've got dudes from different weight classes chipping in. I mean, when you're getting roasted by people who don't even fight in your division, that's gotta sting. First up, Ilia Topuria, who called him a bum, fake champion, and a one-trick pony. When a featherweight is gunning for you, you know you're in some hot water.
But Belal, he's a fake champ. He's a fake.
And he topped that off with a crazy Twitter post. Then we have the notorious one himself, Conor McGregor. He went off calling Belal abysmal and a crotch sniffer. Like, damn, Conor, that's next level roast material right there.
What do you think about Belal Muhammad as a champ? Oh, he's woeful.
If Conor's not a fan, you know you've got some serious work to do to change the narrative. Even Kamaru Usman trashed him for unknown reasons. Kamaru had invited Belal on his podcast, but the video has yet to come out. With Belal wanting its release, Kamaru didn't hesitate to trash him either. Let's not forget TJ Dillashaw, who had his own take on Belal's boring fight record. He dropped some wild facts, saying that Belal has no KOs in his title run. 0. That's like being a chef who can't cook. So, what are you even doing in the kitchen?
Doesn't knock down anyone in 4 hours and 17 minutes.
Belal has 4 hours and 42 minutes in the octagon, but no knockdowns are on his record book, while he himself has been knocked down 4 times and knocked out once by Vicente Luque. While the pride of Hawaii, Max Holloway, is taking the victory lap of never being knocked down, at the same time we have a champ at 170 who's considered to have pillows for hands. Naturally, it's hard to rally behind a champ who's got the lowest finish rate among all UFC champions. Speaking of that, let's talk about his fighting style. Fans have been calling it boring, and honestly, it's kinda hard to disagree. While he went on a 10-fight winning streak, 7 of those ended in a decision, 1 being a no contest, and the highlight being a submission win over Takashi Sato. His only TKO victory came against Sean Brady. That's not exactly what you'd call must-see TV. People tune in for knockouts and exciting exchanges, not for wrestling clinics and ones that make you feel like a long lecture on a Friday afternoon. Unfortunately, while fighters like Khabib Nurmagomedov and Kamaru Usman improved their finishing rates over time, Muhammad seemed to have remained deep in his comfort zone. In an era where every random fighter tries to stand out from the rest, some take any means necessary to show off their bravado and aggression. Some even try to look as cocky as they can. We've seen folks who put on a controversial WWE-style gimmick and run with it, like Colby Chaos Covington. So you don't want to be an average Joe. And then we have Belal, remember the name, Muhammad, who wins a decision in a tedious show, then takes the mic and puts the crowd into a deep sleep. Don't get me wrong, talent and work ethic were always there for him. But what is missing is that X factor that makes you a star. But let it be, not everybody can be a superstar. Muhammad ain't the most thrilling welterweight on the roster. His wrestling-heavy style earned him a reputation for being boring, which is definitely a harsh assessment considering grappling is his foundation. There can be a ray of hope though. We've seen deja vu with many fighters who don't have exciting fighting styles like Usman, GSP, and Leon Edwards. They've had their share of less exciting fights, but what hurt Muhammad was the perception that he wasn't evolving. But when they became champs, everyone loved them. They saw their real personalities and fell in love. Look at Kamaru, his stock is 10 times what it was prior to his championship run. And finally, can we talk about Belal on the mic? He's trying to pull off his wannabe gangster vibe, but it just doesn't land. It's like listening to a dull version of Khabib with a better American accent. No shade, but charisma isn't his strong suit. He either needs to find his voice or better speak as little as possible. Everything that Belal shows looks like he's impersonating somebody. Then comes the controversial eye poke in 2021 against Leon Edwards. Muhammad was unable to continue after that. Many accused Muhammad of faking or overreacting as he was seen crying profusely in the octagon. In his defense, he stated that he feared he had gone blind in the eye on which he had previously undergone surgery. But the visuals clearly showed that it was an unintentional poke that caused the real harm. Despite his concerns, some labeled his reaction as theatrical, and honestly it felt like an over-the-top reaction. Adding insult to injury, he was getting dominated at will by Rocky. Many athletes and commentators emphasize that Muhammad doesn't deserve the negativity directed at him. He's a skilled technical fighter with an impressive resume. He fights clean, is polite, and a kind-hearted guy. His charity work for Palestine, along with being a devout Muslim and a humanitarian, further highlights his character. But who gives a damn? Fans obviously are too hard on him. They continue to troll Muhammad, claiming that no one will remember his name. While he occasionally slings back, albeit with restraint, the general sentiment remains unchanged. It will be a monumental challenge for him to shift this narrative. No doubt part of the backlash stemmed from Islamophobia, prevalent in some online MMA communities. However, fans see the Illinois native as boring. No matter what, fans just didn't like his fighting style, attempts to trash talk, or whatever he does. But the opinion on the street remains the same. Enough of this. Let's switch gears and look at what's next for Belal. His upcoming challenger, Shavkat Rakhmonov, is the boogeyman of the welterweight division. This dude is a beast on an 18-fight finishing streak. If Belal can't step up his game, this could be the end of his title run. I'm already getting an intuition that we'll see a dozen YouTube videos titled "Belal got steamrolled by Rakhmonov" before they fight next month. If that happens, we might see Belal fade into the background like a forgotten meme. But let's be real, it could end up being another snooze fest decision win for Belal as well. Alright fight fans, that's a wrap. What do you think of Belal? Is he misunderstood, or is he just a really boring fighter? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more hot takes, and I'll catch you on the next. Before you go, check out the video on the left where you'll find Mike Tyson's favorite fighter, one of the leading contenders for any GOAT conversation in MMA, Fedor Emelianenko.